I am now creating weekly exclusive content for Patreon, so if you are interested in that, go check out the link down below. And of course, if you want to avoid the random lottery of FIFA points, you want to go straight to the source, buy the players directly, use u7buy.com and use the code TVM at checkout. What is going on, guys? TVM here. Welcome back to another player review. I was going to do Anthony Martial, but then decided that I cared a little bit more about trying out Immobile because we all know what kind of card Martial will be. I'm sure if EA don't drop anything at 6 o'clock today, you may or not know already. But if they don't drop anything in packs or any new players to review, then I will do that review. If they do drop a lot of things to review, then obviously it'll get lost. But Immobile is one of those cards that, you know, he's got 5 informs this year, 87, 88, 89, 90, and now this 91. He has an 87 Europa League live card as well. Not that that's relevant anymore, but still. I thought it would be a good idea to take this card into a game and find out exactly what it's all about. Because on paper, in terms of an actual like out-and-out goal scorer, he's got everything in the right areas. You know, he's got enough stamina. He's got the body type to be able to hold up the play, to be able to dance in and around defenders with his very good ball control and dribbling and composure. His reactions are off the charts, finishing, shot power, positioning. It all points towards him being a prolific goal scorer. However, because of the way this game works with regards to mobility and the fact that drag back is essentially the king, pace is very, very not overpowered, but, you know, useful. It's meta. That's the word, right? Because of all that, is this card actually going to be any good in game? That's the reason why I wanted to try it out, because 81 acceleration, 89 sprint speed. The sprint speed's good, the acceleration is poor, and it's the other way around. You want it, right? You want better sprint speed. So, with that, you want better acceleration, sorry. So with that being said, initially, from looking at it, you're thinking, well, he's going to feel a little bit sluggish, and then he's got 83 agility, 70 balance, he's 6'1", and he's got a high and average body type, which doesn't fill me with confidence that this card is going to feel very mobile and fluid. And I know you don't need a card to be meta for it to be usable, because I've played with quite a few cards already this FIFA. I say already, we're in, you know, back end of April now, but I've used a lot of cards in this FIFA that don't fit the meta, that are still useful. You can still score goals with them and have a lot of fun with them. However, we are looking for a player that not only is fun to use, but is actually usable in game. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that makes sense. So my initial concerns were, of course, agility, balance, sprint speed's not going to be enough, and then just general mobility, because if you have low agility, or, you know, anything below 90, and you are 6'1", the taller you are, the worse it's going to feel, right? Team have got him in, nothing too crazy. Ronaldo, no, honestly, it's not. I mean, you know, Zaniolo's not that great, to be fair. DePaul I actually quite like. I think he's a bit of an underrated player. I wouldn't necessarily say that everyone needs to run out and get him and put him in their team and it'll improve your squad tenfold. But he is useful. Pretty useful bench, come to think of it as well. I don't know why I left Cavani on there, but still, a decent looking team. To say the least, even if there are 1 or 2 players out of position off Ken. But still, let's get into the clips. You'll start to see initially what I'm talking about with regards to his mobility, right? So he tracks back here, gets the ball back using his frame. And that there, you can see the touch is slightly heavy. That there didn't really come off too well, and he loses the ball. He's not mobile in any sense of the word. He doesn't feel great on the ball when he first gets it. So when you first get your touch there, gets away from him as a burst of pace into the penalty area. Of course, he's got an engine chem style. Would I recommend it? I mean, to be fair, it depends what you want, right? So the reason I went for the engine, like that there, just he couldn't get it out from under his feet, couldn't get any sort of rhythm going. His ball control and dribbling are high in terms of overall rating, but because of his height and his mobility, his agility, balance, and even acceleration to a certain degree, you just can't get the ball from under his feet quick enough, and he can't get it under control quick enough. I'm not quite sure what stat is doing that. Maybe it is just the height in general, maybe even the body frame, but or body type, but still. We'll get into a little bit more of the mobility in just a second, but the engine chem style may or may not be the one for you. In my opinion, I think there are only really 2 you can go with, engine or hunter. Hunter will give him a straight up 10-10 acceleration, sprint speed boost, and then a 5 finishing, 6 shot power, 1 positioning, 7 volleys, 15 penalties. We don't touch the long shots. And then he turns into a 94 rated striker. You've got a lot of pace there, and that might make up for the lack of a few other things. With the engine, we're neglecting the shooting altogether. There's a reason for that. I'll talk about that in a minute. We're giving him a balance boost because he needs it, up from 70 to 80. His agility goes up to 88, and then we're touching up the reactions, the ball control, the dribbling. We're also giving him sprint speed and acceleration boosts while trying to improve the passing as much as we can. Because in this game, it's not as easy as it has been in previous FIFAs to run through people, right? So you have to use passing. Passing in triangles in this game is very, very useful, and that's how in a 4-1-2-1-2, I use, I sort of get through defences, right? So we'll pass to one, send him on a run, we'll do a little triangle, then get the ball back to the player who started the move. That is the way I tend to score a lot of my goals. That's a really good finish there. And I'm not taking anything away from his finishing. His finishing is absolutely fantastic, and we'll talk about that. But with the engine, I kind of wanted to try and make him as mobile as possible while giving him that pace. His finishing is good enough that you don't need to improve it. You don't need to give him a chem style to boost up his accuracy. His positioning is some of the best in the game. He's very similar without the mobility to Belotti in that sense. So I've got faith, not as much faith as I have in Belotti, and I did this on the wrong account because I don't have Belotti on this one. I should have done it on my Road to Glory account, but I didn't really want to be spending the coins because I was what's the word I'm looking for? I was just sort of half preparing for Friday. Like, I didn't know what was coming today, and I still don't, but I didn't know what was coming, and I thought I might need coins for it. So I thought I'd go on this account where there's a little bit more in terms of I can use the coins, and if I lose them, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. So that's why I've got him on this account. But it would have been, really fun to have him in the team with that season objective Belotti, because that card does not miss. Immobile is quite similar in that sense. I think both of them together could have been an absolute menace. And then maybe even Lasagna, Foot Birthday Lasagna as a cam would have been a lot of fun. Those three together would have been a lot of fun. But if his price comes down, I might try it out and maybe do some sort of squad builder or something. His finishing is fantastic, though. It really is. I mean, it's not quite Belotti standard, but it is very good. So I didn't feel the need to boost it in terms of a chem style. Honestly, the cons, he doesn't feel meta, right? So he's not. So slightly heavy, especially when he first touches the ball. His first touch can be quite heavy. And then getting the ball from under his feet. Once he gets into his stride, he's actually not bad at all. You can change direction relatively quickly. The drag backs are fine, and you can do some step over side steps and ball rolls and things like that. He is limited to his 3-star skills, so just bear that in mind. But as you can see there, couldn't quite get it out from under his feet on the second drag back, but manages to and then gets his shot off. But I think in terms of the sort of first touch mobility, you can sort of overlook it because you're kind of expecting it going into the review. I knew this wasn't going to be Neymar, I knew he was going to have some mobility issues. But honestly, as long as you can see past that and you can appreciate what else he's got going for him, the positioning, he's always in the right place at the right time. His work rates obviously pay tribute to that as well. His shot power is fantastic. His finishing is very precise. And then, of course, his stature. You can argue that the stature is a con because that's what makes him slightly heavy. However, you can use that stature to your ability, or to your advantage, I should say. So what you can do is obviously hold up the ball. He only has 79 strength, so if you really want to, not that I would recommend it, but if you really want to give him like a hawk, you can do that. He remains a 94 rated striker. You give him the extra finishing boost and shot power and whatnot, but you also boost up the strength to 84. You give him better aggression, which can help. And of course, you still get that pace boost. But what you miss out on then is the agility and the balance. Now, even with that engine, he still felt quite clunky at times. So taking that away from him is going to make him feel slightly worse again. Don't know whether I would want to do that personally. I suppose if I was playing this and I was like, right, Immobile is going to be my number one striker, I'm going to take the time to find out which chem style works for me personally, I would go through them all. I'd be happy to spend the money to get the Hunter, to get the Hawk, to get the Engine, maybe a couple of others and try them all out. That would have cost me a lot of money. It would have taken a hell of a lot of time. I'm talking hundreds of games with this card to find out which one is the best. But depends what you want. Player to hold up the ball, potentially go for a Hawk. Engine if you want that little bit more mobility, and Hunter if you just want straight up pace. but that is going to cost you a fair chunk of change. Definitely a class 2, not meta, but still, you can have some fun with this, and he is one of those sort of prolific goal scorers. Definitely good for objectives, definitely good for rivals fun. If you have enjoyed this review, do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.
Football Index. The game changed. Download the app now.